The following video is a presentation for sports performance analysis by Landon Baldrini, Jared Williams and Thomas Hall. As a brief overview, HSBC's World Rugby 7 Series tournament was established in 1999. It showcases the most elite rugby players of the modern day. One of the biggest spectator sports in the world. It is made up of 19 international teams and is hosted in 10 cities around the world during the year. The game we are analysing today is USA versus New Zealand on the 15th of April 2016. It is the 20th round of the 2016 year-round tournament. The game analysed is the deciding match to determine who qualifies for the quarterfinals of the Singapore tournament to play South Africa in the quarterfinals. Both teams are competing within Pool B. New Zealand is represented in the black and white strips, and USA is represented in the white and red strips. The final conclusive score is 19-12 to New Zealand. The purpose of this analysis is to understand an in-depth interpretation of the key performance indicators that are closely associated with the outcome of a typical Rugby 7 match. Furthermore, the information collected will go on to be used as a guide for future training focus, as well as focus for upcoming match tactics. This information will help coaches, players, and associated staff develop and build more comprehensive rugby teams. A key performance indicator is a measurable value that has a close association to the outcome of a match. They may also be used to demonstrate how effectively a team is performing, areas for improvement, in which ultimately leads to greater game success. The information obtained from a KPI can be implemented to improve training sessions and player performance. It has been determined that the top 5 key performance indicator of a Sevens rugby match that are both measurable and closely associated to a team's performance are turnovers. Turnovers give a great reflection of a team's handling errors and turnover capitalisation. The more turnovers one team has, usually identifies a weak performance, while contrastingly, the capitalisation of turnovers will show a greater offensive performance. The key performance indicator of possession. This is key to a team's performance, as without the ball in possession, the team will be unable to score and thus be in a defensive position throughout the entire game. This results in greater fatigue and continuous downstream in performance. Key performance indicator of ruck retention. Ruck retention is important. It allows for the offensive team to increase the number of phases as well as possession, allowing more tactics to come into play, which increases the offensive team's chances of scoring. The first key performance indicator analysed is turnovers. A turnover is defined as a loss in possession from one team to another by either of the following: handling error, interceptions, loss of possession in the ruck, knock-on, and penalties conceded. The following video is an example of a turnover. The video begins with USA in ball possession. The man is tackled, a ruck is formed, a handling error occurs, and New Zealand get a turnover. The New Zealand player passes the ball. A try is scored as a result of this. The key performance indicator of possession is defined as the total time of a team maintaining ball control whilst keeping offensive pressure. The time in which the ball is in not direct possession of a team is not counted as any team's possession, rather expressed as a ball in play. The following video is an example of USA keeping possession of the ball. As you can see, the ball is passed laterally across field. New Zealand makes an effective tackle, a ruck is formed, USA retains possession, the ball gets passed laterally across the field, a tackle is missed, offload made, New Zealand form a successful tackle, successful ruck, lateral passes while maintaining offensive pressure from USA. USA still have possession. This time in possession allows for chances to be created, as shown throughout this video where USA have maintained ball possession. Ruck retention. The key performance indicator of ruck retention is identified as having 2 distinct outcomes. maintaining or losing possession within a ruck. When we talk about ruck retention, we are always talking about the offensive team. The following video demonstrates New Zealand keeping ruck retention. The video starts with the New Zealand player being tackled and a ruck being formed. As you can see, they have successfully kept retention of the ball, preventing USA from gaining possession, enabling New Zealand to continue on with play. Tackle efficiency is a key performance indicator that is also recorded. There are two outcomes of tackle efficiency: an effective tackle or an ineffective tackle. An effective tackle or tackles are defined as one or more players succeeding in stopping the ball carrier from the attacking team making an advancement through the defensive line and thus resulting in a ruck, therefore negating the offensive advancement. An ineffective tackle or a missed tackle is identified as one single unsuccessful attempt to stop the ball carrier of the opposing team from advancing the play. The final key performance indicator is a line break. A line break is defined as an action in which a player of the offensive team breaks through the defensive line of the opposing team whilst maintaining the ball, resulting in a significant gain in territory. In the case of a chip ball, the ball must be retained behind the defensive line in order for it to count. Line break and tackle efficiency, just like all the other key performance indicators, are very closely related. This is shown in the following video. USA have the ball passing laterally. A tackle is missed, allowing the play to continue. Another tackle is missed, leading to a line break. Two more tackles are missed. This eventually leads to a try for USA. Analysis of turnovers. An overview of the turnovers throughout the total game gives an indication of the team's discipline and handling performance. As we can see, at the end of the game, it was USA who had the most turnovers with a total of 4, while New Zealand followed narrowly with 3 turnovers. Of these turnovers, New Zealand was only able to capitalise on 1 of the 4 opportunities through USA errors. While USA had a higher completion rate by converting 2 of the 3 turnovers into tries, this is clearly represented in the above graph. A comparison between first and second half performance indicates both teams had a higher turnover rate in the second half. This could be due to a number of factors, most likely due to a common mishap between teammates in combination with second half fatigue. Analysis of possession. Possession between both teams has been quantified through the use of percentage of game time for both the first and second half, as well as total game time. Possession is usually a great indicator for the final outcome of a match. This makes sense, as if a team does not have the ball, then they are unable to put points on the board. The final possession stats recorded in this instance do not quite reflect this statement. When the game is broken up into 2 separate halves, it is clearly evident possession is closely associated with points scored. In the first half, New Zealand possessed 62% of the ball and resulted in a 19-0 lead at the end of the half. This high possession rate was a result of USA's increased number of errors around the ruck, and as well as their high percentage of missed or ineffective tackles. In the second half, there was a flip in momentum. USA received 21% of the ball, however, they were unable to capitalise and New Zealand was able to hang in for the win, with the final score of 19-12. Ruck retention. Through the total game, there was a total of 12 rucks. Both USA and New Zealand won 3 of their own rucks and lost 3 of their own rucks. Within the first half, New Zealand showed a very dominant performance in the breakdown, winning both of their offensive rucks as well as creating opportunities in defence by stealing the ball in both of USA's breakdowns. This was unfortunately not backed up in the second half, as a shift in momentum allowed USA to effectively win 3 of their 4 offensive breakdowns, and New Zealand only winning 1 of their 4. Tackle efficiency. Tackle efficiency within the first half shows 4 tackle attempts to New Zealand and 11 tackle attempts for USA. Within this, 8 were missed for USA and 3 were made. This could also show the offensive pressure from New Zealand. In the first half, 2 tackles were missed and 2 tackles were made for New Zealand. The tackle efficiency in the second half shows that there were 7 missed tackles out of a total of 10 tackle attempts for New Zealand. Within the second half, USA made 3 tackle attempts and achieved 3 successful tackles. This may be due to the lack of offensive pressure from New Zealand. Total game line breaks are compared using percentages. It is evident throughout the game that USA had a higher total amount of line breaks. However, New Zealand was more effective in capitalising on their opportunities, thus converting them into tries. When comparing this to USA's performance, in which they could only convert 50% of their line break opportunities, it is evident that New Zealand was a more effective attacking team. Identifying strengths and weaknesses and future training applications. Both teams seem to show similar juxtaposing performances in the first and second halves. New Zealand showed dominance within the first half of breakdowns, as well as greater turnover and line break capitalisation. However, this was not continued in the second half of the match, where it seems a lapse in communication, organisation and/or fatigue, suggesting future development in training, incorporating set-piece tactics and/or drills, communication drills and general conditioning. USA had a poor first half, shown in the poor first half ruck retention data, lower possession and a larger amount of missed tackles. This was slightly improved on in the second half, although not enough to swing the scoreboard to obtain the win. For future training sessions, it would be beneficial to focus on tackling and defensive set drill pieces, more focus on offensive and defensive breakdown. These factors will allow for a greater total possession of future games, increasing offensive pressure, thus scoring opportunity. The key concepts are communication between players, coaches and staff, individual key performance indicator work, then shifting into multi-drill key performance indicator work, reflection and feedback through assessment and visualisation.